she make me florid, make my oratory.
Some more callers. We got Lynn here in Austin.
Yes, sir.
How are you, Lynn?
I'm fine, thanks. As
you
you
for-
may recall, I've called a couple of times before, and always before it was to agree with you, and I definitely consider myself atheist-friendly. But I disagree with your idea that no attitude or action has ever been inspired by religion, which is not basically selfish. And you asked us to give examples of unselfish acts inspired by religion. So I was going to give you a couple of them.
That's not quite what I was asking.
But let her, yeah.
I fully admit that people for religious reasons